Hey kids, welcome to lesson 11, while loops. Number 11, expressing stop conditions until loops. Today is a fun one. It is often more natural to think about looping in terms of when the loop should end rather than when it should continue. For example, you might say, keep going down the road until you see the gas station, or keep calling until you get through to someone. You may think of these as until loops rather than while loops, since we want a loop to continue until a condition is true rather than while a condition is true. There is no until loop in JavaScript, but it is actually quite easy to translate until loops into while loops so that you can still use them in your program. An until loop runs until a condition is true, opposed to a while loop which runs as long as a condition is true. That means an until loop is the logical inverse of a while loop. It runs as long as the condition is false. That makes sense. The table below shows how you can use the not, our exclamation point operator, to translate stopping conditions into while loop conditions. We have a little chart here. We have expressed as stopping. You could think of this as our x equals y. Stop once you get somewhere. Stop once you get through to someone. Expressed as an until loop, we have keep going until you reach the gas station. Keep calling until you get through to someone. This would be until x equals y. And then expressed as a while loop, keep going while you have not reached the gas station, or keep calling while you have not gotten through to someone. That is just the inverse of the until. So you're keeping it going until whatever you're trying to do there is fulfilled. Note how we can use the not operator to find logical inverses or opposites of the conditions from our until loop to create a while loop. Let's do a little practice on that now. We have a do this. Starter code is provided that repeatedly rolls 2 dice and writes their values to the screen. Careful, before you edit this code, it creates an infinite loop. Use the technique above to modify the code so the loop stops when both dice are greater than 5. That looks like our job right there. So stop it when both of our dice are greater than 5. Try it out and experiment. You should exit the loop the first time both dice have values greater than or equal to 5. Greater than or equal to. Another important part there. We have an example what it should look like. So anytime it's above 5, we should get a done. Looks pretty easy to me. Let's go ahead and take a look at our code here. We have our variable die 1 and 2, both are set equal to -1. So the first time around our loop, it doesn't become true. So we get at least one time through our loop. We have while and true. So this is probably where we're going to input our code. Die 1 is going to a random number between 1 and 6. Die 2 is going to a random number between 1 and 6. We're going to write on the screen, you rolled a die 1 and a die number 2 a value, and then write done. I believe this is a infinite loop here if we just hit run. So let's hit run, and we should start getting numbers. It's going to keep going and going because there's no way to get out of it right now. So let's reset it, and let's work on what we have to do. Well, what we're doing here is this while loop right now. So if we come in here, it's going to be while what? We're doing the opposite. Keep running until you have 2 dice that are greater than 5. And that is expressed by first our exclamation point, because that is the inverse. And then it's just like anything else. We're going to have the die 1. And we want this one to be greater or equal to 5. So our first number is going to have to be greater than or equal to 5. But we want the second dice to be the same thing. So die number 2, we also want greater than or equal to 5. In this case, oops, put percentages there by accident. In this case, it's going to keep rolling until die 1 and die 2 are greater than 5. At least that's what I think. Let's go ahead and hit run and see if that's what happens. Well, it could have happened a long time. Just looking through these numbers, I don't see anything. Let's reset run again. A much shorter one this time. Not much luck the first time. We got a 6 and a 5, both greater than 5. We hit done. Let's try it one more time. 6 and 5, and we're out of our loop. Seems to be working as intended. I think that's all code.org wanted from us. We modify the code so it stops when both are greater than 5. Let's see if they want anything else from us. No. Good job, kids. I'll see you on the next lesson.